Oh, Carissa, when I first saw you, you were a lovely child. And the last time I saw you, you were 15 and pregnant and running wild. I remember wondering, could there be a light at the end of your tunnel? But I left Ohio then and pretty much forgotten all about you. I guess you were there some years ago at a family funeral, but you were one of so many relatives I didn't know which one was you. Yesterday morning I woke up to so many 330 area code calls. I called my mom back and she was in tears and asked how I spoke to my father. Carissa burned to death last night in a freak accident fire. In her yard in Brewster, her daughter came home from a party and found her. Same way as my uncle, who was her grandfather. An aerosol can blew up in the trash. Goddamn, what were the odds? She was just getting ready to go to her midnight shift as an RN in Wadsworth, and she vanished up in flames like that. But there had to be more to her life's worth. Everyone's grieving out of their minds, making arrangements and taking drugs. But I'm flying out there tomorrow because I need to give and get some hugs. 'Cause I got questions that I'd like to get answered. I may never get them, but Carissa, I gotta know, how did it happen? Carissa was 35. You don't just raise 2 kids and take out your trash and die. She was my second cousin. I didn't know her well at all, but it don't mean that I wasn't meant to find some poetry, to make some sense of this, to find a deeper meaning in the senseless tragedy. Oh, Carissa, I'll sing your name across every sea. Were you doing someone else's chores from? Were you just killing time, finding things to do all by your lonesome? Was it even you who mistakenly put flammables in the trash? Was it your kids just being kids? If so, the guilt they will carry around forever. Well, I'm going out there to get a look at the landscapes, to get a look at those I'm connected by blood, and see how it all may have shaped me. Well, I'm going out there, though I'm not really needed. I'm just so broken up about it. How is it that this sad history repeated? I'll return to Ohio, to the place I was spawned, gonna see where I hung with my cousins and played with them in the snow and fished in their ponds. Gonna see how they've grown, visit some graves and say, hey, I've missed you. Gonna find out as much as I can about my little second cousin Carissa. Gonna go to Ohio, where I was born. Got a 10:45 a.m. flight, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. Gonna see my aunts and uncles, my parents and sisters. Mostly I'm going to pay my respects to my little second cousin Carissa. Going to Ohio, where for now I feel I belong. Ask those who know the most about Carissa, for it is her life and death that I'm helplessly drawn. Carissa was 35, raised kids since she was 15 years old, and suddenly died next to an old brick fire pit. Oh, there's gotta be more than that to it. She was only my second cousin, but it don't mean that I'm not here for her or that I wasn't meant to give her life poetry, or to make sure her name is known across every sea. I can live with the sky falling out from above. I can live with your scorn, your sourness, your smug. I can live growing old alone if push comes to shove, but I can't live without my mother's love. I can live flying around at an impossible pace. I can live with the bad etiquette that's fallen on this place. I can live with anything you got to throw in my face, but I can't live without my mother's embrace. My mother is 75. She's the closest friend I have in my life. Take her from me, I'll break down and bawl and wither away like oak leaves in the fall. You can be cruel all you want, talk bad on my brother, shoot me full of holes and I won't be bothered. Judge me for my ways and my slew of ex-lovers, but don't ever dare say a bad word about my mother. When she's gone, I'll miss our slow, easy walks, playing Scrabble, the chimes of the grandfather clock. I'll even miss the times that we fought, but mostly I'll miss being able to call her and talk. I can live without watching the classic old fights. I can live without a lover beside me at night. I can live without what you might call a charmed life, but I can't live without my mother providing her life. My mother is 75. One day she won't be here to hear me cry. When the day comes for her to let go, I'll die off like a lemon tree in the snow. When the day comes for her to leave, I won't have the courage to sort through her things with my sisters and all our men. My uncle died in a fire on his birthday. Redneck that he was, burning trash in the yard one day. And onto the pile he threw an aerosol, a can of spray. And that's how he died in the fire that day. Before he retired, he was a truck driver. He'd be gone through the winters and all through the summers. In the winters, us kids would order Dominoes and watch Happy Days. And in the summer, we'd gig frogs at the pond and fry up their legs. My aunt still lives there, out in Ohio. I visit her in the altar care. She makes me smile. We remember the story of when I was young, getting stung by a hornet. She caressed my foot, rubbed baking powder on it. I was probably 5 at their home in Navarre. My cousin's friend was in the yard playing guitar. We all gathered round, listened to her play and sing. And I fell into a trance and knew that one day I'd do the same thing. My uncle died in a fire on his birthday, out by the barn in his old collection of cars. 3rd-degree burns, a charred up shovel near his hand. My uncle died a respected man. I flew out there, I went to his funeral. It was storming that day. The sky was deep purple. Babies were crying Kentucky Fried Chicken was served, and that's how he would have wanted it, I'm sure. And after the funeral out there in Navarre, they all gathered round when I picked up a guitar. They fell into a trance as I sang and I played. And outside the frogs crowed, damn the manises prayed. Kitty curling was my first kiss. I was only 5 years old and she hit me with her pearls. I had braces on my legs and I almost fell down. And from that day moving forward, I've been petrified of blonde. Oh, Patricia, she was my first love. She sat in rows behind me and I couldn't breathe. I gave her Pink Floyd Animals when we were in 6th grade. And it was on her turntable when I met her on Sunday. Her mom was gone, we were listening into dolls. She reached down my pants and discovered I was bald. And when I touched her down there, she was blossoming in song. And the next day at school, she ignored me in the hall. Shelley and Amber gave me my first taste. I went down on them both at Amber's parents' place. We were drunk as skunks and high on Darvon, and they gave me a bath and I stumbled on. Marianne was my first fall. She slid down between my legs and oh my gosh, she could so. I went with her friend first, but I couldn't get it in. And when she caught me with Marianne, her heart was broken. Marianne got cold and abruptly broke it off for a guy with sweatbands and a pickup truck. I begged her not to dump me and I pleaded no, but her body language told me it was time for me to go. The guy with the truck picked me up and brought me home. I sat down at my piano and my spirit was low, but I pulled myself together and I played a few notes. Now I was the one who got their heart broke. I met a girl named Deborah, she lived on the canal. She made me eggs in the morning, she was such a sweet gal. And we went to Red Lobster and we went to Tangiers. She had motherly love, she was warm and she cared. She was a beautiful girl and she had a big heart, but I drifted away because it wasn't that smart. Oh, the complicated mess of sex and love. When you give that first stinger, you're the one who gets stung. And when you lose control and how good it feels to come, and when you're pinned like a dog getting into someone. Oh, rejection, how it hurts so much. When you can't love the one you've been longing to touch, and they're on something else and it don't feel right. And you're wondering, are they coming together all night? Nature of attraction cycles on and on, and nobody's right and nobody's wrong. Our early life shapes the types of we are drawn. It's a complicated place, this planet we're on. I was a junior in high school when I turned the TV. Jane Tuberty went to a restaurant and shot everyone up with the machine gun. It was from my hometown. We talked about it till the sun went down, and everybody got up and stretched and yawned, and their lives went on. And I just left Safeway when I walked in my doorway. When a guy took a boat to an island, shot a bunch of little kids up in Norway. Caught a few of my friends around here, but no one much really cared. But I did, because I got a lot of friends there. I just arrived in Seoul by way of Beijing. I had an hour to myself at my hotel when I turned on the TV. It was quite a thriller. CNN was promoting the Batman killer. His eyes were glazed like he was from Mars. Yesterday he was no one, today he was a star. I was down in New Orleans at the Mausoleum, enjoying some time all to myself when I turned the TV on. There were shootings in a Portland mall, and it was everyday America, and that's all. It was just another one who walked down Royal Street, and the rest of the world was out having fun. December 14th, another killing went down. I got a letter from a fan, and he said, Mark, say a prayer for Newtown. I ain't one to pray, but I'm one to sing and play for women and children and moms and dads and brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts. December 25th, and I was just laying down. I picked up a pen, I wrote a letter to the guy in Newtown. I said I'm sorry about the kids and the teachers who lost their lives. I felt it coming on, I felt it in my bones, and I don't know why. So when Christmas comes and you're out running around, take a moment to pause and think of the kids who died in Newtown. When so young, who paid the price to make us stop and think and try to get it right. When so young, who knew a cloud so dark over them? When they left home, gave their mom and dad kisses. So when your birthday comes and you're feeling pretty good, baking cakes and opening gifts and stuffing your mouth with food. Take a moment for the children who lost their lives. Think of their families and how they mourn and cry. When you're gonna get married and you're out shopping around, take a moment to think about the families who lost so much in Newtown. Spent a day with my dad and his old friend Jim Wise. He's on house arrest and he sits around inside. We brought him food from Panera Bread. His snoring son rolled out of bed. He talked about his '90 Corvette, his warehouse job and his knee replacement. Jim Wise mercy killed his wife in a hospital at her bedside. Then he put the gun to his head and it jammed and he didn't die. He waits trial all summer long and his eyes well up when he told us about how much she loved the backyard garden and the budding rose bush. She loved the garden and its budding rose bush. Spent a day with my dad and his friend Jim Wise. Spent a day with my dad and his old friend Jim Wise. He's got a big thick ankle bracelet and he can't go outside. He's got a long white Amishman's beard and a catheter, and he'll be headed to Mansfield prison by the end of the year for sure. His shelves are sticky old ratty books, his albums are The Doors and Stevie Nicks. His kitchen cabinets are full of baked beans. His TV is silent, words flash across the screen, and he stares off into dead air. Jim Wise killed his wife out of love for her at her bedside, and then he put the gun to his head, but he failed at suicide. His trial's coming up in the fall, and he sighed when we stepped out and we left. And I pointed out the pretty cardinal perched on the empty bird bath. The bright red cardinal and the empty bird bath. Spent a day with my dad and his friend Jim Wise. 1, 2, 3, 4. When I was young, my father taught me not to gloat. If I came home too proud of myself, I'd get wrestled to the floor and choked. But I forgive him for that. He was an 8th grade dropout and I was being a brat. I forgive him, I do. I know that he loves me and he knows I love him too. When I was young, my father told me to each his own. The lady said as she kissed the cow, some like the fiddle, some like the trombone, and I live by that rule. Your trip is your trip and my trip is my trip too. Yeah, I mind my own business. I'll have a no duels and my friend here will have a Guinness. I love my dad. 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 Your kid goes to the private Berkeley school with one black kid. My kid goes to the public school, came home with cracked ribs. And when my kid's 18, he'll be out there like I was, probably chasing his dreams. And when your kid's 22, he'll have an internship at a law firm, and hey, that's okay too. When I was 5, I came home from kindergarten crying 'cause they sat me next to an albino. My dad said, son, everyone's different, you gotta love them all equally, you know. My dad sat me down, he said, you gotta love all people, pink, red, black, or brown. And then just after dinner, he played me the album They Only Come Out at Night by Edgar Winter.
So what's that tune? What does that sound like? I can't remember. Is that the
me the beauty of patience. We'd go and hang with his friend Billy Brislin all day in a Steubenville basement. We'd watch wrestling matches on TV, and Billy couldn't move 'cause he was handicapped. And I learned to shoot the shit, now to care for those in need, and to show respect. When I was a kid, my dad brought home a guitar he got from Sears. I took lessons from a neighbor lady, but it wasn't going anywhere. He went and got me a good teacher, and in no time at all I was getting better. I can play just fine. I still practice a lot, but not as much as Nils Klein. When I was young, my dad told me to pay gossip no mind. When people talk bad on you, you gotta flick it off your shoulder like a fly. Learn to pick your punches, don't get no tussles or dead end ditches. Life is short, young man. Get out there and make the best of it while you can. I ain't trying to say my dad was some kind of a perfect saint. If something set him off, I hit the floor quicker than what Mike Tyson did to Ricky Spain. I hit the floor so fast, but that was so long ago, and we both moved past it. My life is pretty good, I owe it to him. My dad did the best he could. I love you, Dad. 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 I love you, Dad.
You can bring me in a little earlier. Okay. Pretty
I watched the film, the song remains the same. At the midnight movies when I was a kid, at a Canton, Ohio mall with friends, one warm summer weekend. Jimmy Page stood tall on screen, and I was mesmerized by everything. The Peter Grant, John Paul Jones dream sequence scenes, the close-up of the mahogany double-neck SG. And though I love the sound of the roaring Les Paul, what spoke to me most was Rain's song and Bronny Roar. And I love the thunder of John Bonham's drums, but even more I like no quarters, low Fender Rhodes hum. don't know what happened or what anyone did. From my earliest memories, I was a very melancholic kid. When anything close to me at all in the world died, to my heart forever it would be tied. Like when my friend was thrown from his moped, when some kind of a big truck back-ended him. And when the girl who sat in front of me in remedial was killed in an accident one weekend and quickly forgotten about at school. And when we got the call that my grandmother passed, the nervous tension I'd been feeling for months broke, and strangely I laughed. Then I went to my bedroom and I laid down, and in my tears and in the heaviness of everything I drowned. Though I kept to myself and for the most part was pretty coy, I once got baited into clocking some undeserving boy out on the elementary school playground. I threw a punch that caught him off guard and knocked him down. And when I walked away, the kids were cheering, and though I grinned, deep inside I was hurting, but not nearly as much as I'd hurt him. He stood up, his glasses broken, his face was red. And I was never a schoolyard bully. It was only one incident, and it has always eaten at me. I was never a young schoolyard bully, and wherever you are, that poor kid, I'm so sorry. When I grew older, I learned to play guitar, while everyone else was throwing around a football, wearing bright colors the school issued them, parroting passed down phrases and cheerleading. I got a recording contract in 1992. From there my name and my band and my audience grew. And since that time, so much has happened to me. But I discovered I cannot shake melancholy. For 46 years now, I cannot break the spell. I'll carry it throughout my life and probably carry it to hell. I'll go to my grave with my melancholy, and my ghost will echo my sentiments for all eternity. now when I watch, the song remains the same. The same things speak to me that spoke to me then. Except now the scenes with Peter Grant and John Bonham are different when I think about the dust that fell upon them. I got a friend who lives in the desert outside Santa Fe, and I'm going to visit him this Saturday. Between my travel and his divorces and our time not being what it was, it's been 15 years since I last saw him. He's the man who signed me back in '92, and I'm gonna go there and tell him face to face, thank you. For discovering my talents so early, for helping me along in this beautiful musical world I was meant to be. Ramirez died today of natural causes. Got amped up in speed and broke into houses. Bunch of people to death, wrote shit on their skin and left them. They finally got him and he went to San Quentin. His last murderer was south of San Francisco, a guy named Peter Pan from the town of San Mateo. A little girl in the tenderloin was his first. In a laundry room he took $1 from her fist. His last days were at the Bristol Hotel. I was reading Night Stalker when I went and rang the bell. The doorman buzzed me, said you're just like them all. Gave me a key and a black cat, led me down the hall. Had a flight today from Boston to Cleveland. Got a death in the family, gotta do some grieving. Lost a relative and it's eating me up, and I'm making real bad and I need a little love. Rich Ramirez died today of natural causes. These things mark time and make us pause and think about we were kids scared of taps on the window. What's under the bed and what's under the pillow. And the Jim Jones massacre got in our heads. In the TV headlines, Elvis Presley's dead. And the Ayatollah Khomeini hostages. Ronald Reagan dodging bullets. While I'm there, I'm gonna stroll through the old neighborhood. Rick stands my age and still lives with his mom when he's not in jail for from innocent and stalking and writing bad checks, cocaine charges marked and had such a beautiful smile. He always sat on his porch, passing the time and drinking a beer and smoking a pack until one day poor Mark had a heart attack. My friend Ben's got a good job as an electrician. His sister married the pool shark Jim Evans, and my next door neighbors whom I love so, and they love me too, but they passed long ago. And if you walk just a few blocks down Stall, there's a house that was the scariest of them all. A cute little pond with a sign for sale, but those sexton's kids' life was hell. And I'm telling the truth, and if you don't believe it, pick up Lyle Caulfield's House of Secrets. Had a flight from Cleveland to SFO. I got 3 months off until my next show. I was gonna spend time with my girl and make a record this summer. Fix my kitchen up and hire a plumber. The headline changed so rapidly that I came to the studio to work on something pretty. Then I saw the news on James Gandolfini while I was eating ramen and drinking green tea. The Sopranos guy died at 51. That's the same age as the guy who's coming to play drums. I don't like this getting older stuff. Having to pee 50 times a day is bad enough. I got a nagging prostate and I got a bad back, and when I fuck too much I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack. I woke up today, I saw the headlines, an airline crash and 2 people died. And I'm at a barbecue in Santa Fe and everybody's drunk and feeling pretty well. At 53, Richard Ramirez died, but in 83 he was very much alive. He was the scariest killer in the band. He had a pentagram in the center of his soul. Everybody remember the paranoia when he stalked the suburbs of Southern California. And everybody will remember where they were when they finally caught the Night Stalker. And I'll remember just where I was when Rich Ramirez died of natural causes. Micheline used to come to our house and knock on our door. My dad would answer and say, "What do you want, girl?" And she'd say, "Can I take a bath with Mark?" My dad would say, "My son ain't here, send her home," and shut the door and we'd all laugh. And Micheline would walk down the street glowing and smiling like she just got Paul McCartney's autograph. Her brain worked a little slower than the others. She wore thick rimmed glasses took a different bus to school than the other kids and was in different kind of classes. When she got older, a neighborhood thug moved in with her and started taking her welfare payments. He took her down to the bank, helped her withdraw a savings that was put away for her, and he went off with it. The cops caught up with him, he did little time and cut to many years later. He's doing life in a Florida penitentiary with his father, both of them for murder. Micheline, 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 Micheline. She wanted love like anyone else. Micheline, Micheline, Micheline. She had dreams like anyone else. My friend Brett, my friend Brett, my friend Brett, my friend Brett, he liked to play the guitar. But he had an awkward way of playing bar chords with two fingers, spreading his index and middle fingers really far apart. One day at band practice he dropped like a deer, was shy, was flipping around like a fish. He had an aneurysm triggered by a nerve in his hand from the strain he was putting on it. I went to see him in Ohio. He had a horseshoe-shaped scar in his scalp and he talked real slow. We played pool like we did in our teens, and his head was shaved and he still wore bell-bottom jeans. In '99 I was on tour in Sweden when I called home to tell my mom I got a part in a movie. When she said, "Mark, there's something you need to know. Brett died the other day, you really should send a letter to his mom and dad." And I got on my train to Malmo and looked out at the snow, feeling somewhere between happy and sad. My friend Brett, 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 my friend Brett. He had a wife and a son. My friend Brett, my friend Brett, my friend Brett, he just liked to play guitar and he never hurt anyone. My grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma. Before she passed away, we'd go and visit her at my aunt's house when I was small. I couldn't bear the shape she was in, so at the top of the driveway I'd sit in the car. One day I was just fucking around when I put it in reverse and I was free falling. I remember the car moving backwards. My heart was beating and I blacked out. Another car was coming down the street and I told them both and I got knocked out. My grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma. First time I met her, she lived in LA, I think it was Huntington Park. I made friends with a kid named Marcelo and another kid named Cyrus Hahn. We'd go downtown and get ice cream and feed french fries to the pigeons and talk to the handicapped vets from Vietnam. It was the first time I saw a hummingbird or a palm tree or a lizard, or saw an ocean, or heard David Bowie's Young Americans, and I saw the movie Benji in the theater. My grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma. I heard she had a pretty hard life, but after her first husband passed away, she met a man from California who treated her really nice. My grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma, my grandma was diagnosed at 62. Her kid stepped up to the plate for her and they were there the whole way through. Woke up this morning, August 3rd. It's been a pretty slow and uneventful summer. Went to visit a friend in Santa Fe, went to New Orleans and went to see my family. Woke up this morning and it occurred I needed one more track to finish up the record, but I was feeling out of fuel and uninspired. Laid in my bed too long, a little down, a little tired. Met my girl and we walked down Union Street. I was scattered and my head was in a bunch of places. Bought a $350 pair of lampshades and we ate at Perry's and I ordered crab cakes. Blue crab cakes. Blue crab cakes. Blue crab cakes. She said I seemed distracted and asked what was going on with me. I said I can't explain it, it's a middle-aged thing. She said okay and ate her eggs Benedict. And I looked at the walls cluttered with sports bar shit. Sports bar shit. Sports bar shit. Sports bar shit. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Got on the phone and I called my mother, I called my father, talked a little bit with my sister. She's got a new boyfriend, he's a deer hunter, and she's getting used to venison. And my dad's still fighting with his girlfriend about his flirting with the girls at Panera Bread. My mom was good but sounded out of breath. I worry so much about her, I worry to death. I worry to death. I worry about her to death. I worry to death. The other night I went and saw the postal service. Ben's my friend, but getting there was the worst. Trying to park and getting up the hill and finding a spot amongst the drunk kids staring at themselves. Standing at the back of the crowd of 8,000. Thought of Ben when I met him in 2000 at a festival in Spain. He was on the small stage then and I didn't know his name. Now he's singing at the Greek and he's busting moves. And my legs were hurting and my feet were too. I called him after, said I'll skip the backstage high-five. But thanks for the nice music and all the exercise. And we laughed and it was alright. And we laughed and it was alright. And it was alright. There's a line between a middle-aged guy with a backstage pass, a guy with a gut hanging around like a jackass. Everybody there was 20 years younger at least. I'll leave it this, not my fondest memory. Carried my legs back down the hill, gave my backstage passes to cute Asian girls. Drove to my place near Tahoe, got in my hot tub and I thought, well that's how it goes. And it was quiet and I was listening to the crickets and Ben's still out there selling lots of tickets. Though I'm content, there's a tinge of competitiveness, but Ben's my friend and I know he gets it. Then a couple of days my meltdown passed. Back to the studio doing 12-hour shifts, singing a song about one thing or another. Another day behind the microphone this summer. This tenderloin summer. This tenderloin